Hello everyone and welcome to our Pan-European Conference. It's actually 16th Pan-European Conference. And at this point, we would really like to say that we are so happy that all the presentations of past conferences and also of today's conference are very creative. As teachers, you have to be innovative, you have to create different contents for your students. And we are so grateful that you are willing to share all these good practice examples also with other teachers, not just from Europe, also across the globe. Also today we have 5 wonderful presentations of 5 teachers, which will be presented later on. These are Diana Jelavic, who will present vocabulary in social media to influencers. The second presenter will be Vilma Leodanske. She will present application IT tools in organizing remote education in a kindergarten, a case study. Irina Biba will be presenting SAMR model and Flipp learning. Graziella Soare will present elementary particles. Let's play with the quark puzzle. And the last but not least will be Mirta Koskolo-Baric. She will present online class activity, My Dream Turned into My Company. So welcome all the listeners, welcome presenters. Because it's not the official beginning of the conference yet, all the presenters will quickly introduce themselves and we'll start with Diana. Hello, Diana.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Diana Jelavic and I'm a teacher mentor at Jure Kaštelan High School in Omiš, Croatia.
Perfect. And we also know you from our past conferences.
Yes, the first one.
Okay.
I was talking about the collaborative digital tools.
Perfect. And now you're upgrading the knowledge with your second presentation. Welcome.
Yes, today I'm going to present vocabulary in social media and influencers, how to teach vocabulary with using social medias.
Perfect. Welcome. Vilma will also be with us.
Hello, everyone. Really thank you for the organizers of this conference. I am very happy to participate in this event. I am Vilma Leodanske from Lithuania. I live and work in Marijampolė, small city. And I want to present some experience. I work in kindergarten. I will talk about the experience which we gained during the fast quarantine.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
With us, it's also Irina.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Albania. I'm Irina Biba, a teacher for 25 years. So glad to be here with you and to share my presentation. I'm master teacher, mentor teacher, and trainer also.
Perfect. It's nice to have you here. The fourth presenter will be Graziella.
Hello, I am Graziella Soare from Romania, Focșani, at Ștefan cel Mare School, and I propose quark puzzle for you.
Perfect, thank you. And Mirta, our fifth presenter, hello.
Okay, hello everyone. I would like to first of all apologize if something goes wrong. I'm at the seaside and the internet connection might be a bit of a problem, so I'll see if I can manage something till my turn comes. So I've been teaching English for 23 years in a vocational school in Slavonski Brod, Croatia. I have a lot of interest. I'm interested in using digital tools in teaching. I'm interested in CLIL, and I've also coordinated two Erasmus Plus projects. So that's from me for now.
Perfect. Thank you to everyone. We also see that some participants are saying hi and hello in different languages from different countries. So you're all very welcome at the conference. It's already 3 o'clock, so we'll also begin with the official part of the conference. The first one to present will be Diana Jelavic. So Diana, you can start sharing your screen and you can begin with your presentation, which is entitled Vocabulary in Social Media to Influencers. Welcome to start.
Okay. I'm starting sharing. Can you see my presentation?
It's still loading, but yeah, it works.
Okay. Can I start?
Of course.
Monica, can you see everything?
Yeah, it works and you can start to present.
Okay, thank you. Let's get started. In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to engage students in vocabulary learning, letting them do things they like most in the familiar and cozy environment known as Instagram. Involvement in the task will enhance creativity, critical thinking, language, and social media skills. It's a good practice example because it is deeply rooted in everyday life habits of our students, what makes them highly motivated and confident in gaining new knowledge. When the task is wrapped up this way, learning happens seamlessly. Positive emotions, real-life purpose, and audience boost students' performance, and the results are beyond all our expectations. Target vocabulary of this lesson is intended for beauticians, but if you find the activity useful, you can adapt it to your needs and teaching context. There is also some info about vocation, students' age, and their language proficiency. This is the learning outcome of the lesson. Students will be able to write an instructional Instagram post using new vocabulary. And now let's go briefly through all the phases following the outline. First, flipped classroom, creating a word cloud with specific vocabulary. Then warm up, guessing and predicting based on keywords. Speaking, describing a process. Peers assessment of oral presentations using rubric. Writing how-to Instagram post. Peers assessment of written tasks using checklist. Commenting and voting on Padlet. And wrap up, reflecting on vocabulary acquisition. Here you can see the example of assigned word cloud, links to resources, as well as online applications and tools used for task accomplishment. These are fake message generator, fake Instagram account maker, Padlet, and word art. And the resources for vocabulary are beauty salon vocabulary and cosmetics vocabulary. Let's get started with the plan. First, students are supposed to prepare for the task by creating a word cloud with needed vocabulary. Teacher proposes some resources as seen on previous slide. Besides vocabulary, they have to look for the photos and browse Instagram for some expressions if needed. Warm-up consists of predicting the topics based on the keywords from the word clouds that are sent to the assigned Padlet. Next is a speaking activity of describing a chosen beauty treatment or process supported by cloud vocabulary on the Padlet. While listening, students evaluate their peers according to the previously given rubric and leave comments or scores on Padlet, of course. Here is an example of the rubric. Students create their fake Insta accounts. Sorry. Okay, here we are ready for the main task. Imagine you are an influencer on Instagram and write an instructional post teaching your followers how to achieve a goal. Who wouldn't like to be an influencer? Do you find this idea attractive? I suppose your answer is yes. Students create their fake Insta accounts, write a post and invent comments. Everything is sent to the same Padlet. At this point, peers assessment can be applied again. Students read posts and leave a written feedback based on given checklist, suggesting some improvements. At the end, they vote for the best post using the Padlet feature for voting. The lesson finishes reflecting on vocabulary acquisition by putting questions like, what have you learned today? What vocabulary will be useful for your future job? Where did you pick it up? And so on. So this is an example of a checklist that is used by students to formulate a written feedback for their peers' tasks. Sorry. To conclude, vocabulary should be learned intentionally, not just incidentally. In this task, both ways are applied as stated on the slide. And now it's your turn. I want you just to revise some important aspects of the task. How about doing true-false exercise together? Let's get started. Sorry, my fault again. So, words are intrinsically linked to context. What do you think? Is it true or false? Think about this statement. Of course, it is true. Visual feature of Instagram facilitates vocabulary learning. Think about this statement. It is true. Task isn't connected with real life. Of course, it is wrong. It is really connected with real life. Hashtag community focusing on the same interests can enhance vocabulary acquisition. It's true. Task has purpose, setting, and audience. Yes, it is. It enables shaping skills for future employability. It's true again. only incidental way of learning vocabulary is applied. No, it's wrong. Both ways of learning vocabulary are applied in the task, incidental and intentional. And this register isn't suitable for social media skills development. It is false because it is the best register for social media skills development. Thank you for your attention. Hope it was interesting and useful. Would you be so kind to fill in a short evaluation form? And thank you again.
Thank you, Diana, for this wonderful presentation. So in the comments, you will find the link for Diana's evaluation. So please be so kind and provide feedback, because with feedback, we're always learning how to improve ourselves.
Yes.
And since we're talking about feedback, I'm wondering, how did peer assessment work in your class when you conducted this activity?
Yes, I'm trying to get my students used to peers assessment. It is a process. It isn't easy, but you have to keep trying to get them used to rubrics, to checklists, and try again and again. And they find it very, very interesting, and they really like it at the end. They like to assess their peers.
And how do students react to the assessment, being assessed by the others, by their peers? What is their reaction?
They are not angry. I think they have fun while assessing, and they accept very, very well the opinions of their peers.
Perfect. And also, one thing that I really liked is that you use Instagram, something that's used on daily basis by the teenagers. How did you find this idea?
I don't know, because I always connect the content of their curricula with things they like doing, and they know how to use Instagram. They are familiar with Instagram. They feel good at Instagram. They feel cozy, and that they really didn't feel like learning, but they feel like having fun when they are on Instagram. So I think it's a good way to make them learn new things when you put them into the position of an influencer, as I did it today in this task.
Perfect. Thank you. It was really a wonderful presentation.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll continue with Vilma. Vilma will present application IT tools in organizing remote education in a kindergarten, her own case study. So welcome, Vilma.
Okay. Can you see presentation?
It works, so you can begin.
Okay, thank you. So as Monica said, I would like to talk about experience which we gained working in a small kindergarten. So in the context of a global pandemic of the COVID-19 virus, not only schools, universities, but also kindergartens, we are faced to close and to organize educational process for the students in a remote way. So distance education is not possible without application of different IT tools. So the most educators, a lot of educators, not only in Lithuania, but around the world, faced the challenge to improve their digital literacy and to learn how to use different IT tools in the process of education. I can say that this item is very close related to lifelong learning. Lifelong learning and appliance of educational innovations is one of the main strategic tasks of the European Union development. Learning and education are emphasized in European Union policy as the mean which enables member states and their citizens to cope with social, cultural, and economical challenges of the 21st century. The application of IT tools for remote education in the kindergartens in Lithuania can be treated as educational innovation. You can ask why. Because last year, during the first quarantine, when the kindergartens were closed, that was the first time, not only for schools, but also for kindergartens, when we ought to organize education for small children in remote way. And the aim of my presentation is to present the experience of Marijampolė kindergarten teachers organizing preschool education in remote way. As I said, IT application can be understood as educational innovation. What does it mean? Innovation can be understood as the process of creation of new economic or social value from the existing knowledge, or as successful commercialization of new technologies, ideas, and methods, bringing them into the market. So innovation is defined in different ways according to different authors. But usually it can be understood as new idea, invention, or new knowledge. And the term educational innovation is used to describe educational changes. For example, everything that is new at the level of education system, a school as an organization or pedagogical system, or a plan change which is aiming to improve curriculum or behavior or attitudes of students. And now some data is connected with my research. This research I carried out in the spring in 2020 during the first quarantine in Lithuania. And 10 respondents participated in the research. That means 3 principals of kindergartens and 7 kindergartens. I carried out a semi-structured interview with the respondents, but in this short presentation, I will present you some aspects which help small kindergartens to cope with challenges, how to apply IT tools successfully, organizing remote education. So according to the respondent, the first aspect which help to apply IT tools successfully is improvement of education activity. That means permanent learning of employers, not only teachers, but administration also and other workers, application of reflecting on experience, sharing of experiences. When, for example, more experienced teachers help less experienced teachers to learn how to use different IT tools. And in that case, I noticed very interesting experience when young teachers helped elder teachers in this issue. and agreement on application of innovations, when, for example, principal and administration discuss and agrees with teachers what kind of IT tools can be used. The second aspect, which helps in this field, is the role of a leader. In that case, leader must show initiative, share responsibility with others, and mobilize community. For example, one respondent stated, "The implementation of innovations primarily depends on the position of manager himself and his activity. Managers who share their responsibilities as leaders with other members of community creates a sense of belonging to community, which has a positive effect on improving quality of education and children's progress." The third aspect, which is important, principles of teamwork. That means teamwork, organization, cooperation between all interest groups, that in administration of kindergarten, teachers, students and students' parents, initiatives of community members, and mutual support. And the last and not the least aspect in that situation is, of course, good emotional atmosphere in a kindergarten. That means collegial relationships between teachers, mutual trust, and encouragement of pupils' parents' initiatives. For example, innovation can come not only from us, from educators, from teachers, but also from parents. We had a lot of innovations offered by our parents. Every educational institution that strives to work successfully willingly cooperates with parents and involve them into the activities of the institution. And conclusions. Educational innovation can be understood as a planned change aiming to improve the content of education or the behavior of students. Any member of the educational community, that means and administration, teachers, parents, and students, can participate in the implementation of educational innovations. And summarizing the research data, I can state that application of IT tools as an educational innovation in kindergarten influences all community, influences community culture, values, and subjects. The success of educational innovation depends in that case on permanent learning of teachers, managers' openness to innovation, active position, cooperation between different sides, as I said, for example, teachers, administration, and parents. So thank you for your attention. Maybe you have some questions.
Thank you, Wilma. We do have some questions from the audience. Vesna Hristova has asked, she told us that she works in a kindergarten as a social worker, and she would like to know which applications have you used when working with children online?
Thank you. You know that when I am talking about the education in kindergarten, we are talking about education of small children. In that case, very small children, for example, from 2 till 6 years old, in that case, it is very important to cooperate with their parents. And organizing education of small children, we use different tools. For example, teachers prepared some tasks and send via email. For example, created closed groups on Facebook Manager. And we tried to use such IT tools as, for example, YouTube, various videos on YouTube, Padlet. and so on. Presentation like PowerPoint or Canva program.
So if I understood correctly, you communicated through parents.
Yes. We communicated with parents, and for example, we sent via email or for example, via messenger group messages for parents when lesson will start, and we helped children to participate in these remote distant lessons.
Okay, perfect. And Jana has also asked what kind of innovations have been suggested by parents, and have you managed to implement them successfully?
Thank you for the question. Question is very interesting. And as I said that when we were discussing which channel is the most suitable to communicate with students' parents, parents said that maybe Facebook is the most popular. Facebook and messenger groups are very good tools, channel to communicate with parents. So we applied this idea.
Okay, perfect. And one more question. Looks like you picked lots of questions.
Yes, okay.
So Diana Maria would like to know what was the biggest challenge that you faced while working online with children?
Okay, children are very happy to use IT tools. There is no problems, but I faced as a principal of a small kindergarten problems with all the teachers. Young teachers, they like to use IT tools in education, but for example, not all the senior teachers like to use IT tools. And in that case, we helped, I as a principal and younger teachers, we helped all the teachers how to use IT tools. For example, simply how to send a message on Messenger, how to create group on Facebook. So these things we taught all the teachers.
Perfect. And that's what you've been mentioning in your presentation, probably. So
yes.
This cooperation.
Sharing experience and cooperation.
And one last question from Adela and Coretta. Who provided the necessary gadgets for the kids? Because we know that some cannot afford it.
What do you mean gadgets?
I think it's meant the computers or tablets, stuff like that, maybe applications.
Okay, thank you for the question. We reached all parents, every family, and asked them, do they have possibility for their children to participate in remote lessons? For example, do they have such equipment as a computer or smartphone? And in that case, when parents said, yes, we have possibilities, we organized these remote lessons, distant lessons. But when teachers said that parents said that they didn't have possibility for a child to participate in remote lesson, we sent parents some task via email. So they could print these tasks and do independently at home.
That's a perfect way to do that.
Yes.
Thank you, Ilma.
Okay, thank you, really.
Same. And now we'll continue with the next presentation of Irena Biba. She will present SAMR model and Flipp learning. Welcome, Irena.
Hello again.
Hello. You can start sharing your presentation.
Yes. Okay. I want to share with you my presentation about integrating technology, SAMR model, and Flipp learning also. Technology will not replace great teachers, but can be transformation. What is SAMR model And why is such a valuable framework? Every day, teachers are designing activities to target higher order thinking skills in order to engage students, enrich learning experiences. But integrating technology adds a whole new layer to teaching and learning. SAMR is just one example of effective ways that technology can be integrated into. How can technology transform your learning design? Dr. Ruben Fuentedura developed the SAMR model as a way for teachers to evaluate how they are incorporating technology into their instructional practice. This model allows teachers to identify their integration of tech in 4 categories. Using SAMR, it is an act of substitution, the lowest level, augmentation, the second one, modification, and redefinition into specific categories: enhancement and transformation. The model includes a dotted line that represents the threshold where you shift from using technology to enhance learning to use it to transform learning. How to move up the SAMR ladder? The SAMR model includes a threshold, as I said, here, where you shift from enhance to level, lowest level, to transform, highest level. Transforming learning promotes higher order thinking skills, such as analyzing, evaluating, and creating, which are essential to 21st century learning. Technology transforms the learning process and helps students to build higher order skills in Bloom's taxonomy also. Look at the image, Bloom's digital taxonomy. Okay. We take a look now at some of the most verbs which can use from lots to host in Bloom's taxonomy. 6 levels: remembering, Googling, highlighting, identifying, listing, matching, etc. In understanding, advanced search, annotating, categorizing, classifying, etc. Applying, calculating, charting, collecting, computing, constructing, etc. Analyzing, appraising, attributing, breaking down, contrasting, etc. Evaluating, assessing, checking, etc. And the highest level in creating, animating, blogging, collaborating, composing, designing, filming, making, podcasting, etc. So how can you teach about the line? Let's take a look at one example or some examples from a classroom task and how it evolves through the lens of SAMR. For example, if students have a class task, a presentation, in substitution, the lower level of SAMR, students make a keynote presentation on the iPad. In augmentation, the second level, students demonstrate understanding with explain everything. In modification, students combine audio, video, and text in movie presentation, etc. And in redefinition, the highest level of SAMR, near part presentation. Nearpad is an online tool that allows teachers to use slide-based teaching both in classroom and remotely. Thanks to a hybrid layout, it's beautiful. Teachers can create lots of different interactive learning resources that allow students to engage and learn via their device or a single screen in their room. I have worked with NAPARTs, useful. The first level, as I said, is substitution. Technology acts as a direct tool substitute with no real functional change to the task. What does it mean? For example, in creative writing, in this case, students are substituting a handwritten story for a typed story. The task is the same with no real change in student engagement. In augmentation, the second level, technology still substitutes, but with some functional improvement. What if you took the same creative writing assignment and had students use a word processing program? They could use features such as spell check and tools for formatting. Again, the story writing task is the same, but the technology augments it with enhancing productivity. Modification. Technology should allow for significant task redesign. Take the same creative writing assignment and have students use Google Doc to write their stories. Students can then share these stories with peers and provide real-time feedback. Here, technology has significantly modified the original task by introducing the benefits of students' collaboration. At the top stage, redefinition technology allows for the creation of entirely new tasks that were previously inconceivable. What if students transform their writing story into multimedia productions? After creating storyboards, students film scenes, edit clips, and add music. They can publish the videos and receive feedback from voices across the globe. In this case, technology redefines the story writing task to include media creation, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. So, how can you use SAMR to reflect upon transforming your learning design? Here is the Bloom's taxonomy with 6 levels. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. The 2 enhancement levels of SAMR, substitution and augmentation, are associated with the 3 lower levels of Bloom's: remember, understand, and apply. And while the 2 transformation levels of SAMR, modification and redefinition, are associated with the upper levels of Bloom's: analyze, evaluate, and create. In assignment, here they are 4 levels of SAMR and Bloom's taxonomy verbs. Written papers. In substitution, we can use Microsoft Word. In augmentation, Google Doc. In modification, Blogger. And in redefinition, Adobe Spark. In presentation, Microsoft PowerPoint. In the lower level, Prezi. In augmentation, MindMeister. In modification, and Nearpart in redefinition. In discussion, Twitter, word clouding, Skype, Padlet. Illustration, Microsoft Paint, Educreation, Canva, and Scratch in the highest level. In assessment, Quizlet, Google Form, Edpuzzle, and Flipgrid. They are beautiful tools. Some reflection question to help you move up the SAMR ladder and shift how you are designing learning experiences. Ask yourself, what will I gain by replacing the older technology with the new technology? Have I added an improvement to the task process that could not be accomplished with the older technology at a fundamental level? Does this modification fundamentally depend upon the new technology? How is the new task inquiry made possible by the new technology? These are just a few of the questions you can ask yourself as you evaluate the design of the classroom task and consider that not all technology integration is created equal. Ultimately, SAMR can help you evaluate your use of technology and design tasks that target higher order thinking skills, engage students, and enrich learning experiences and impact students' achievement. We can implement flipped learning with SAMR. SAMR is a framework into classroom, as I said. Flipped is a strategy which aims to increase students' engagement and learning by having students complete reading at their home and work on live problem solving during class time, assigning students lecture materials and presentation to be viewed at home or outside of class. During class time, teacher prioritize active learning, always in flipped learning. What is the role of educator, of teacher in flipped learning? Is more important, more demanding. Teachers continually observe, they are providing feedback and assigning their work to the students. As I said before, the learners in flipped learning are given study material to read and assimilate the learning content before class, at home. And where they're back in class physically, the learners discuss the content with their peers and the instructor, with the teacher. After class, the learners check and confirm their understanding by doing further learning activities. The Bloom's taxonomy is reversed in flipped learning. At home, creating, evaluating, analyzing, higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy, and in classroom, applying, understanding, and remembering. Professional educators are reflective, connect with each other, and control chaos. Pillars of flipped learning: flexible environment, learning culture, intentional content, and professional educators. While professional educators take on less visibly prominent roles in a flipped classroom, they remain the essential ingredient that enables flipped learning to occur. The question is not what is flipped learning, but instead, what does flipped learning make possible? Technology is everywhere. There is no spacing, and SAMR could be considered an essential framework when it comes to future lesson planning by understanding what technology can do and how it can benefit your class. You're in a far better position to teach your class as effectively as possible. Are you a tech-savvy teacher? Build your higher tech school on a foundation of 21st century skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Irena, for this wonderful presentation. Comments were constantly very positive, that it was very interesting presentation, that they learned a lot. Looks like it was really amazing to watch, because now we have about 400 participants following the conference, which is amazing. So thank you really for this presentation. For now, I'm not sure if we have any questions. Perhaps they will come later on, but for now,
Thank you.
that's it. Yeah.
So glad to be here.
Same. Thank you. And we'll continue with the next presentation. Graziella Soare will present elementary particles. Let's play with the quark puzzle. Welcome, Graziella.
Hello again.
Hello. When you're ready, you
Hello.
can prepare the presentation.
It's okay? It's okay.
We can't see it yet. We can
Now
see
you see me?
we see you, but we don't see the screen of the presentation.
It's a problem.
No problem. In the meantime, for those of you who
Okay.
are asking about the certificates, you can apply via the link in the description of the video and also on the in the comments. We have posted link where you can apply for the certificate. So you just click there, apply for it, and you'll receive it in the following days, probably within the week. It should be there.
Now it's okay?
Now it works perfectly.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Grațiela Soare. I am physics and computer science teacher in Focșani, Romania. I propose the script of a lesson about elementary particles. This lesson can be divided into 2 hours. It can be included in the study of the substance and adapted for both middle school and high school. Through play and student involvement, we start from nature and explain quarks and antimatter. For the first activity, the class is divided into 5 groups. Each group should be prepare a short PowerPoint presentation using Wikipedia as a biography, antimatter, antiparticle, lepton, baryon, the 4th fundamental forces. The teacher, with the help of the students, synthesize the information and write it on the board. Student receive a sheet with the detailed information. The materials presented by the student in the first activity will be used in the following activities. As a safety measure and for correct information, it is good to have this material ready and printed before the lesson. Here I have some example. This is for the antimatter. It's in Romanian, but it's important the topics, not the content. The content it's up to the teacher. For the second activity, student receive 2 type worksheets that have text in some boxes and others have images. Some worksheets are identified by numbers, others by letters. They must fill blanks with the text and match the images with the text. And here I have an example. These images are matched with the text with 8 number. But these are made up of substance and can be natural and or artificial. And here are the example for all the worksheets. The worksheets A don't have image and match with the worksheets 4 who And here you see the image. Another example, it's the text, and here is the image. For the third activity, each group receives some pictures which will be passed on the board in the certain order by the students, and they made a diagram of the structure of the substance, like this diagram. And the activities are atom, corpse, electron, molecule, network, nucleons, proton, etc. These three activities can be carried out in 1 hour. For the fourth activities, you can use puzzle quark to this quark. This puzzle can be get using this link. All these pieces have all these pieces are quarks. Quarks can be up. These are up or down. This can be green, red, or blue, and they can have electric charge 2/3 or 1/3. You can use puzzle quark also in 3D dimension, and here you have also the rules for using for 3D pieces, the flavor up, the electric charge, the color, and if you have an 3D printed, you can make this model 3D. In this way, the students can understand through play and cooperation about elementary particles. After color printing of the two-dimension model, the sheets are inserted into a plastic, and then the puzzle pieces are cut out. Quarks are the pieces of the puzzle. In this physical model, an elementary particle is composed of quarks with different colored flavor. For antimatter, we have pieces that have strips. The rule regarding the electric charge, the flavors up and down are also then into account. The pieces of the puzzle must be arranged so as to form a triangle, as you see in this the rules of the using the puzzle pieces are described in the address in the link. Exercises are also proposed and
It looks like we have some problems with internet connection. We'll see if Gratiela will be able to return. Gratiela, can you hear us? Otherwise, Florina has said that this presentation is very interesting.
possibility.
Gratiela, we lost you because of poor internet connection, I would say. Can you hear us now?
You see another exercise of neutron and anti-neutron. If you have some question, thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Gratiela. Once again, we have many congratulations. Somebody has said that it's interesting that you combined digital information also with objects. Can you hear me?
I have a bad connection. I am in a hotel, not at home. If you can't repeat.
Yeah, of course. One question was, what kind of skills do you observe when what kind of skills do you observe have been enhanced in your students' population by using Puzzle Quark?
The students just a second. I'm very
if you think of
attention is very important to make very focus on the these activities, and they learn about the about the some information like electric charge, like flavors, and this is for very important.
Okay, perfect. Otherwise, people are congratulating you for your presentation. Many thank you. So also thank you from my side. I have just one more question for you. When you gave these puzzles to students, what was their first reaction?
they like this action because it's fun. It's not for the first time when I use this method. I use also this method for density with the small children, and they are exciting when they use something like this.
How old were these children?
12, between 12 and 15.
It's very good that you combine games together with learning because
Are
it
not
becomes fun.
so understand what you
Okay.
say. The bad connection is
Yeah, I see. Okay,
repeat.
so thank you for your presentation, and we'll continue also with the next presentation. This is our last presentation for today, and it's from Mirta Kos-Kolobaric, and it's entitled Online Class Activity, My Dream Turned into My Company. So we're gonna move to business world with Mirta. Hello, Mirta.
Hello, I hope you can hear me well.
For now, it works. Looks like everyone
Yeah.
is on vacation already. That's why the internet connection
Yeah.
isn't so
Okay,
well.
can you see the presentation now?
Yeah, we can see it. You can begin.
Yeah. Okay, good. So one thing I would like to mention before I start, I apologize, I'm on vacation as just as Graziella, so I might face the same problems. I have been working in a vocational school, secondary vocational school, which means that students that we get are not always as proficient in English as maybe those who choose grammar school. So I have to always adapt my tasks according to their level of English. So I would like to tell you a few words about things that I will cover in this presentation. So background of this project task, designing a project task, some requirements, work process and adaptations, and there have been a few. Task submission and problems or challenges depending on how we see them, and students' impressions and the results. Actually, some of their presentations will be shown to you. So background of this project task is actually dates back to our transition to online teaching due to the pandemic in March 2020. And at that point, it was all new to us. So the things that I have learned in the past year have been so great. I think that I have advanced professionally more than in 22 previous years of teaching, and I'm sure you will agree with me on that. And I think that one thing can be summed up in this sentence. So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So both applies to us and to our students as well. We were given some instructions on what we should do with our students. So the kinds of tasks that should be done. And also we were advised to be very careful in finding the ways to assess them due to some, let's say, technical problems. Not many students had their computers at home, so we had to devise tasks that would somehow cater for all the problems and all situations that and circumstances our students were living in. So challenges when proposing or planning any project task in this period was the teaching process itself, so how to do it, motivation and digital competencies, both those of teachers and students, and different ways of assessment of students' work. Designing an appropriate project task in normal, so to speak, circumstances is quite a difficult one, as you probably know, and in online lessons, it's even more complicated. So in my experience, these 6 things proved to be very important requirements. So first of all, the task should be motivating, so something that students would enjoy more or less doing, then engaging, moderately challenging, and I would connect it with this done independently, because if the task is too easy, they will not enjoy doing it, or they will not do it at all. Or if it's too difficult, then they might ask other people for help, so it will not be done independently. They will not do it on their own. It should be complex in several stages, and assessment of this project
particular project task was done with assessment rubric. When I said complex, the project that I'm going to show you is something that we did over 2 or 3 weeks, and we have 3 lessons per week. So each week we would choose, let's say, 1 or 2 lessons depending on the part of the task. So for these 2 lessons, you will do this, and then we would move on the next lesson. Work process and adaptations. So this started as a listening comprehension, actually as a graded activity. And probably many of you have used this tool, AppVisor digital worksheets, and they really saved my life many, many times. So I chose one task for the 3rd and 4th graders and another task for the 1st and 2nd graders. So they were allowed, they were supposed to listen to a text about C.J. Walker. So this was for the more advanced students. And there were some listening comprehension questions. And for the 1st and 2nd graders, there was listening to a TED Talk. And the TED Talk was done by a wonderful young lady from Africa. And she talked about how she managed to turn her hobby into a dream. So since in our curriculum, we have this very pronounced cross-curricular topic of entrepreneurship, I decided to develop a short project out of it. So 3rd and 4th graders were supposed to choose or think of a product that they would like to develop and produce and sell, of course. And the 1st and 2nd graders were supposed to think of a hobby or talent or a skill which could be successfully turned into business. In this TED Talk, it was mentioned that not any kind of hobby can be turned into business. If there aren't any people who would like to buy a product, then it's still just a hobby. So they had to be more careful to think in marketing terms as well. Then the next stage was designing a business plan, and they were given a template and instructions, as you will see in the following slide. Also, they had to design a logo for their company, slogan. They had to make a short elevator pitch, and they had to record a video commercial. So this is a screenshot from the Visor worksheets. You will also have a link to these worksheets if you decide to use them or find some parts of them useful for your teaching. And they were just given, let's say, a more detailed instruction on what they should do in this project. So the business plan template was something like this. They had to think of business description and summary. So thinking about the name of the company, location, logo, and so on. Target market, competitors, human resources, who they would hire. I was surprised and, let's say, entertained by some of explanations. Some students said that they would not employ their family members because probably they would just tag along and not do any real work, but they would have to be paid as well. So they said no relatives employed. Then marketing. So how and where they would advertise their product, how they will run their business, finances, so how much money they would need to start the company, where they could get it, and so on. Some of these students are in economics department, so they might have some previous knowledge about that, and it was a bit more easy for them. And I added digital tools in red letters here. So I added, for example, Canva, screen recorder, voice recorders, and so on, as you will see why. You will see why in the following slides. Also, I asked them to record a short elevator pitch. So this is a short 1-minute speech in which they are supposed to convince someone to buy their product and to tell them why their product is better than others of the same kind. And this was taken, as you can see here, from a PDF that was free to download and use by Rebel Girls. And it was about C.J. Walker. So these are the links to 2 Visor worksheets for you if you decide to use them a bit later. Now, task submission and problems or challenges or opportunities, for me, it turned out to be all the 3. So it was a problem, it was a challenge, and it was an opportunity to learn. So at first I told them to post their work on Lino board because Lino, it was a very simple tool that we used in some of the previous classes. But after a few of these projects had been submitted or uploaded, I came across a big problem, and that was data limit or limitation. So, for example, you can maybe download or watch for about, I don't know, one video, or maybe download a picture or two, and that's it. When I wanted to upgrade and pay for the better or higher version of the Lino board, I had some problems, so I decided to let it go. And at that point, the simplest way was to ask students to just send me their work by email, which was very time consuming for me. Since then, I have learned about many better options. So one of them would definitely be Wakelet. And other options would include Book Creator, Genially, Prezi, Google Slides, Flipgrid, Canva, Loom, or Screen Recorder. So in these ways, they could put all the entire work that they have done, all the things, all the parts of the project into one presentation. Now, their impressions and results. So they were very inventive, very creative in the things that they would like to produce and turn into business. So there was a rowing camp. There is a girl who is very good at rowing, and it's her passion. And she thought of starting a rowing camp, then making pancakes, cupcakes, founding or establishing or starting a reading room, which would be both a cafe and a library, and so on. So there were many inventive things, and I enjoyed watching their presentations. One of them is also a poster for an app for tourists. So if people come to visit our city of Slavonski Brod, via this app, they could find out about the things that they should visit and they could enjoy. And then there is a video commercial, but I'm not sure I have included the sound here, so I may show it to you later if you are interested. It was also a very nice work, and I was impressed that there were really some students who enjoyed this activity, and they really did their best, and they learned a lot, and I learned a lot from them later as well. I'll try to get back to this in a minute if the time allows. And also there was assessment rubric, which was of great help for me to assess their work. And as you can see here, I gave them points 3, 2, and 1. And at the bottom of the second slide, you can see that they had the total 24 points, and there were only 3 grades. So if it was excellent, it was A, B, and C. In Croatia, we have a 5-point grading system, 2 being sufficient and 1 actually failing. So if students really did not do their task, they failed actually. They got a very bad mark, but mostly these were A and B grades. I would kindly like to ask Monica if you can share the link to short evaluation, because I need it. And I'll be available for any of your questions if you have them. I'll just stop sharing this and we'll see if, Monica, do we have time to watch the short commercial? Okay.
And I would really like to see it.
Yeah, okay, so I'll share it with the sound. I forgot to turn on.
And in the meantime, you already have the evaluation form, the same as you did with Diana. It's the same for Mirta. Tina has shared it in the comment section, so please fill it in for the feedback. Okay, and also, if you have some questions from Mirta, because I see that the impressions were really positive, so now it's the option to ask also some questions if you have any.
But after the commercial break, of course.
After the commercial break.
Okay, good. So let's see if it works. Can you hear the sound?
Cakes. We have what it takes. You can buy happiness, but you can buy cupcakes. We bake to dilute your tastes. Every day is a muffin day. Paradise is only a muffin away. Do you agree? Cupcakes are muffins that believe in miracles. The sweetest place on earth, that San's Muffin Shop.
Okay.
Amazing. So this was created by the students.
Yeah, I was really amazed that this is usually very hardworking student. She's always between, I don't know, A and B grade, but she always does, she excels whenever she has to do something creative. So there were wonderful ideas. For example, there was a girl who's quite poor at English, but her idea was to start a business by decorating canvas sneakers. So if you buy those sneakers made of canvas, she would draw something on that, and there were some nice commercials that they were making. Not all of them were digital. There was I don't know, some kind of special bike that they also had, and they made a commercial by riding a bike in the fields and so on. So it was a really inventive and creative.
Amazing. We also have one more question. What kind of business ideas the students came up with? You have already mentioned some.
Yeah.
And aside from that, where was the link between the idea and the IT tool enforcement? Really obvious.
I don't know, really. So as I said, it started as a listening comprehension task, and then we are obliged to have a certain number of grades for each student, and then it was about designing some projects that students would do, but it wasn't we were not allowed to have oral examinations during online classes at that time, so we were strongly advised against that. And then I thought, okay, this could be a good idea. So I knew that some of them had some nice hobbies. And then when I watched this TED talk, I really recommend it. You will have the link to it in a Wiser worksheet. So the way that young girl talked about how she managed to develop the business out of something she liked, then I thought, okay, maybe this would be a good idea. And they really enjoyed it. And the tools, actually, I didn't give them any tools. I just said, okay, do it any way you wish. There were some very simple ones in PowerPoint presentations. Some of them managed to record the voice. Some of them used vocaroo.com, where you can just record your speech, and then they attached the link. So there were various ways in which they did it. But this year, I didn't do it with everyone. This was for those students who wanted to do some extra work for a higher grade. So they used Wakelet, and they shared the work with me in that way.
And also Fernando has asked, the students find original ideas?
Yeah, they did. I like the one with pancakes, and then there was this rowing camp. Also the one that I mentioned for tourist app. Also there was one for what was it? Special type of wall paint that glows, and you just have to add something, and it can glow in different ways. And the student actually did some work, and he said that there are types of wall dyes in that way, so they can be used. Okay. There were many ideas, and it's usually we have this when I ask students to introduce themselves at the beginning of school year. The first one says, "My name is this and that. I don't have any hobbies. I like to eat and sleep." And then the second student comes and said, "My name is this and that. I also like to sleep," and everybody also likes to sleep, and nobody actually gives says anything about their hobbies. And then when they had to do something, I actually realized they do have a lot of things that they are interested in, but just need to get them into sharing them.
So nobody created or figured out he would make a bed to sleep in if they all
no. Okay. Surprisingly not.
Okay. Thank you, Mirta. We also have one comment. So I left, Diana said, I left this freedom for my students, and I had the same observation. There were a few who used PowerPoint or Prezi, but also there were students who were very creative in designing videos. So looks like they also have the same. Okay.
They do it, and some of them did those very simple videos, but they use TikTok, and they said this is something that we use all the time. It's not difficult. It wasn't some kind of wow commercial, but it was okay. So they didn't have it didn't reduce their grade. It was just about how they would present it. So that's something that they do anyway.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mirta.
Thank you very much.
In the meantime, we also had some questions for Irena. So Irena, one question for you from Jana. How do you prioritize the utilization of IT tools so as not to overload students and yourself as well?
Thank you, Tina, for the question. I think tools facilitate learning. They can engage with various collaboration and interactive learning engagement. They are funny for students, for them. No? technology is not only distraction and overloading, but it can help if teachers made good lesson plans always, and encourage active learning participation in classroom. Each child is different and can be challenging to adjust the learning plan to fit for teachers can be difficult. With different tools, any child fits and it's just fun. Teachers have to make good plans, not to overload, to schedule fine. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Irena. And this is we're about to conclude this conference. Just some more information. Next conference will be happening on the 26th of August. So you're welcome to join us at 3 Central European time. You can already apply. We have shared the link in the comment section, so you can click on that and apply as a presenter by sharing your own good example, a good practice as presenters did today, or you can either apply as listener and follow the conference on YouTube and on Facebook. And of course, you can also post some questions to the presenters, which are always welcome because we're learning. I know it's summertime, so it was really amazing to see how many of you have joined the conference in the live session. So hopefully also at the next conference we'll have opportunity to get back together and to learn from new presenters that will present their own good example practice. For the certificates, the link will be open for the next 24 hours. So make sure to apply on time, leave your email, check if it's correct, and then you will receive the certificate in the following days. Thank you, Tina, who was answering your questions in the chat box. You will have the opportunity to meet her in the next conferences. And also Blanca is definitely with us today in some way because she also deserves a break. That's why I was moderating the conference instead of her, but she definitely says hi to everyone. This is it for today. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being with us, and see you next time on 26th of August.